What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another video. Now, before we get into today's topic, I just want to take a second to tell you guys that I am so excited that we've hit 120 subscribers. The feeling of accomplishment that I've got right now, you guys, would not be possible without each and every one of you. So I thank you so much that we've made it this far. I'm honestly blown away that we've hit 120 subscribers this early in the channel, with only having, I think, what do we got now, 25 videos? Something like that. So thank you guys so much. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into today's video. What we're doing today is working on this vehicle right here. What we have here is my girlfriend's 2012 GMC ACADIA. And like the title says, we're going to be changing the spark plugs on this thing, which also means that we have to take the intake manifold off, which means that we're going to put a new intake manifold gasket on. And the reason we're doing this, guys, is because this thing just all of a sudden started getting horrible gas mileage. When that happens, a lot of times your problem can be with bad spark plugs. So we're gonna go ahead and change those out. So we're gonna get this thing pulled in the garage and start working on it. Guys, now that we got the car in the garage, we can pop the hood and get to work. So the first thing that we're gonna do, pull this oil cap off right here. Just set that off to the side. We're just gonna pop this engine cover off. So all you do is just pull up on it, and it has these little tabs on the back side here. They just clip onto those things. At this point, this right here is our intake manifold. So what we want to do is undo this bolt to pull this wire loom out of the way, unhook this one right here to pull it up, and this one's already unhooked. So we'll just pull those back out of the way. Honestly, the first thing we want to do is put this cap back on so we don't get nothing down in our oil. So the first thing I'm going to do is take my 10mm and remove this bolt. Now I'm just going to try to pull these wires up out of the way. This one we need to take a flathead and see if we can pop it up out of the intake right there. We need to work these wires up around this. There's not a whole lot of room, so kind of have to be careful with it. So now I'm just going to take me a piece of wire, wrap around all these wires, bring it back and wire it around this just to hold those wires out of the way of removing the intake. Now we just need to start removing these hoses out of the way. We'll go ahead and pull this up out of here. Just move it on over to the side. Go ahead and get this hose off right here. Just kind of work it off of there. There we go. Now that should all be free, except for right here. We just need to unclip that. There we go. Now we can pull that out of the way. But before we do, we want to get this off. So we'll just unclip this. If I can grab hold of it. There we go. This thing has to be unclipped. You got to squeeze in on that green deal right there. There we go. Pull that off of there. Remove this hose. Swing it out of the way. Take our screwdriver, loosen this up. Now we'll just kind of wiggle that off of there, pull it up, set it off to the side. Now we're going to take our throttle body off, and it is also a 10mm. Alright, now we've got to unplug the throttle body inside this here and pop that out. There we go. Now you can pull that out. Now that we're at this point, you can start to see the coil packs and where the spark plugs are going to be. Get this stuff swung over. Now we should be able to just pull this cover off of here, and we'll be able to see our intake bolts. So just be real careful pulling this off so that you don't tear it up. It's got to go up over this little tab over here, so we get that wire out of the way a little bit. All right. Okay, so now we're going to remove these 5 intake bolts. Now we're going to take our half-inch socket and remove these 5 bolts. There's actually 6 of them. I forgot that there is one right here. I don't know if you guys can see that. I'll get my flashlight right quick. So the 6th one is right here on the side, right there. Now, I've done a little bit of research online, torque specs, and the pattern for these things. So from what I can find, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over here, and then this is going to be number 6, I believe. So I'm going to go ahead and start removing these bolts so we can get this intake out of the way. That looks so good. Alright, now we got them bolts out, we can remove this intake. So just give it a little wiggle. Work it up around everything. Be real careful not to mess these hoses up. Looks like we're gonna have to twist it just a little. Bring it right on out. Now that we've got that all taken off, you can clearly see that we can get to our spark plugs here now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, way back there. And this is the intake manifold gasket we're gonna have to replace. Just to be safe, before I do anything else, I'm gonna grab my little vacuum and vacuum all this dust and dirt up. And then we're gonna cover these holes up with some rags. That way we can start pulling these spark plugs and changing them out. So now that we've got our holes covered up, we are going to take our 3/8 socket and get these coil packs out of the way. Alright, let's get these coil packs out of the way. First thing we're going to do is unclip them, which is very easy. We just press down on that little button there, pull back, they unclip, slide the wires out the way, pull those up out of there. A lot more work to come in the future on this Acadia. Alright, so now we just need to get our spark plug socket and we'll get these spark plugs pulled out of here. 5/8 spark plug socket, long extension. Not too bad. Tight, holy moly. Must not have been changed in a while. There's number 4. 2 more to go. I tell you what guys, these back ones are kind of a nightmare to get to. I'm on a step stool because I'm kind of short. I'm only 5'5", so it's hard for me to get up over the front end of the vehicle and all the way back here. So like I said, I'm on the step stool, and then you got to take your ratchet off of the extension to get it down in the hole to be able to clear the upper part of the firewall. And then once you get it seated on the spark plug, you can put the ratchet on there, and then you try to break it loose. But these spark plugs have either been in here for a long time or somebody didn't put any of that anti-seize grease on them, because they are stupid tight. Ugh, there we go. Okay guys, so right over here you can see we got our new spark plugs, and we've got our anti-seize grease, and we've got our connector grease. The factory spec for these, from what I could find, is 44 thousandths. So we'll go ahead and stick the spark plug on our little spark plug gauge here, run that up to 44, which looks like we are there. I'm going to do that for all 6 of them, get our grease and lubricant on them, and then we'll get them installed back in the engine. Alrighty guys, we got them gapped, got our anti-seize on there. Now it's time to get them back in the engine. Alright guys, our new spark plugs are in. We're going to go ahead and throw our coil packs back on real quick, and then we'll swap out this intake manifold gasket. Okay, now we can go ahead, remove this rag, pull that old gasket off there and get it cleaned up, get our surface cleaned up. Now we just want to clean up our surface here, these little portholes, get those cleaned up, clean them up on the intake manifold side also, put our new gasket on, and we'll be able to put that intake on here. Alright, so now that that's in place, we'll go ahead and grab that intake manifold and set it back on there. Okay, so if we remember, it had to be turned like this to get it out. So we'll go back in like that, being very careful on these electrical wires. This thing up here, you got to be real careful of it as well, and remember all these tubes down here. So just very, very gently work it back in there. I think we're good. We'll go ahead and start trying to put these bolts back in. Alrighty guys, so now that we've got that in there, our bolts are kind of snugged up, we're ready to take our torque wrench, run it up to 17 pounds, and then we'll torque these bolts in. Now that we've got those torqued down, we'll get our throttle body put back on, throw back on our little heat cover, and then we'll start getting these wires bolted back in place and plugging all this other stuff back up. And there you have it. That is how you change the spark plugs and intake manifold gasket on a 2012 GMC Acadia. So I'm going to clean my tools up, put the hood down, and get this thing out of the garage and see how well it runs. Well, there we have it, guys. It's running. Sounds pretty smooth. I don't know if you guys can hear it because it's so quiet, but it's running pretty smooth. You can see the tach jumps up and down just a little. I don't know if it maybe still has a little bit of a mist to it. You can also see that we got a check engine light. That was on before I did this. That's gonna wrap things up for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I know it wasn't very long, but I hope that a lot of you out there watching this got a whole lot of helpful information from it and can be able to do this job on your own now. Have a little bit more confidence in doing it in your garage rather than taking it to a shop and paying a lot of money, because that's really unnecessary. It is achievable by yourself. So with that being said, thank you guys for stopping in. If you enjoyed this video, smash that like button. Don't forget to subscribe on your way out. And just like that, we'll catch you guys in the next one.